Happy Feast of Mary, Mother of God. And Happy New Year. How many times we hear this greeting today? How many times we give that same greeting to others? Is it just a conventional greeting or is it a real wish? In other words, is it really possible to find happiness in the new year? It would be a mistake, of course, to expect perfect happiness this year or any year in the life. The innate, insatiable drive we all have for perfect happiness cannot be found in this life. Maybe in the next life. That's what Jesus promised. Or the saints proclaimed, as St. Augustine. You know the St. Augustine, great saint from Hippo, North Africa, Roman time. He said in his famous book, Confessions, Lord, you have made us for yourself, and our hearts are restless until they rest in thee, in you. But there is a deep, lasting peace that everyone can have in this life itself. But what is happiness a byproduct of? What is it that has happiness as a side effect? The answer is to be found in Bethlehem. Let us go to Bethlehem to see what it is. Look into the manger. Take your eyes away from the beautiful babe wrapped in swaddling clothes lying in the manger and look around. There is none of those things in which we seek happiness. There is no riches, no fame, no power, no conveniences, no pleasure, nothing but an empty, cold cave on the outskirts of the town of Jerusalem in Bethlehem. The city is known as the house of bread. Now look at Mary and Joseph kneeling before the manger. They must have tired. They have traveled 75 miles or so from Nazareth to Bethlehem on foot and on the jolting back of a donkey. They must be very hungry. They haven't had a real meal since they left Nazareth some 3 days ago. They must be cold in this damp cave in the midst of winter. It must have been very humiliating for them to discover no room among their relatives in their ancestral home or at the village inn. Yet, in the midst of all of this, Mary and Joseph are the happiest people to walk the face of this earth. Mary is the happiest mother ever in the history of mankind, in the world, because she is the mother of God. In Greek, Theotokos. I used to give a lot of lectures on Theotokos, but no time for it. Just I have to keep up my time for the homily. Great philosophers, poets, and artists and architects made great wonders of art on Mary. One poem I just want to, because it's so beautiful. The poem by William Wordsworth, small poem on Virgin, the Virgin. Enjoy the beauty of this poem, those who are poetic. Mother, whose virgin bosom was uncrossed, with the least shade of thought to sin allied. Woman, above all women glorified, our tainted nature's solitary boast, purer than foam on central ocean tossed, brighter than eastern skies at daybreak's tune, with fancy roses than the unblemished moon before her wane begins on heaven's blue coast. Thy image falls to earth, yet some I ween, not unforgiven, the suppliant knee might bend, as to a visible power in which did blend all that was mixed and reconciled in thee, O mother's love with maiden purity, of high with low, celestial with terrene. It's difficult, but it is poetic beauty. Okay. Saint Ephraim, from a 4th century great mystic and poet and philosopher, affirms that Mary is the most beautiful creature, who brings to light the fairest of the sons of men. Jesus Christ, together with her Son, she holds the primacy of beauty. You alone and your mother are the more beautiful than the others, for there is no blemish in you, nor any stain upon you, mother. What a beautiful words on Mary's, the whole theology of Mary. I will explain more something. Last Sunday I made a speech, I spoke about Hagia Sophia Church, Istanbul. You remember that? Again, that scene is there, okay. You know, this church was 400 years a mosque. Before that, 1,000 years a church. Now it is a museum. When we enter into the Hagia Sophia, we will be marveled by some of the golden mosaic icons inside the church. Two such great works, art, attracted me the most are in the center part. When we go to the first one, that is in the cupola, the dome, icon of Virgin and Child mosaic and Christ. And other one is Virgin Mary and St. John's icons in the middle. That's almost Detroit. That. The Virgin and the Child mosaic is located in the apse semi-dome. In the mosaic, Mary is enthroned and she puts her right hand on shoulder of the child Christ, who is seated in her lap. Her left hand holds a handkerchief, which is on Christ's knee. Both these icons gloriously proclaim the great mystery of incarnation, depicting Mary as Mother of God. Also, the John's picture was famous, seeing that from chapter 19, chapter 9 of 19th of St. John, the Mother of the world. In fact, great Marian dogmas of the church, the teachings of the Marian teachings of the church, was officially proclaimed not far from this church, the Hagia Sophia. It was in Ephesus in 431. Mary as the Mother of God, against Mary as the Mother of Christ. There is a big controversy on that. I will explain maybe another time. You know, the name Mary in Hebrew, Miriam, and in Greek, Maria, connected with an Egyptian term originally from Egypt, or from even before from Ugarit, the ancient language of the people of Ugarit. It's called the Egyptian word Mara, which was an oriental aesthetic meaning beautiful, and Egyptian word Mari, meaning loved. Connected with Miriam in Ugarit idiom has an eternal literal meaning high, lofty, or exalted, etc. Remember the Egyptian name. First Mary's name is referred in the Bible is the sister of Moses that was given in Egypt. Therefore, Jesus' mother would be the Exalted One, the most suitable title. Hence, Mary is the most exalted one. The Mother of God, she is the most exalted. Mother of God is the most important title of Our Lady. To call Mary the Mother of God reminds us of this. God is close to humanity. Ours is the joy of knowing that our solitude has ended. It is the beauty of knowing that we are beloved children, of knowing that this childhood of ours can never be taken away from us. The mother, and we are the children. Let us now be guided by today's gospel. Only one thing is said about the Mother of God. Mary kept all these things, pondering them in her heart. She kept them. She simply kept. Mary does not speak. The gospel does not report a single word of hers in the entire account of Christmas. The Mother of God keeps these things in silence. That silence tells us that if we would keep ourselves, we need silence. We need to remain silent as we gaze upon the crib, to Bethlehem. Pondering the crib, we discover anew that we are loved. We see the real meaning of life. As we look on the silence or in silence, we let Jesus speak to our heart. His loneliness lays low our pride. His poverty challenges our outward display. His tender love touches our hardened hearts. The gospel goes on to say that Mary kept all these things, pondering them in her heart. What were these things? They were joys and sorrows. On the one hand, the birth of Jesus, the love of Joseph, the visit of the shepherds, the radiant night. But on the other hand, an uncertain future, homelessness, because there was no place for them in the inn. The disillusion of the rejection, the disappointment of having to give birth to Jesus in a cave or in a stable. Hopes and worries, light and darkness, all these things dwelt in the heart of Mary. What did she do? She pondered them. That is to say, she dwelt on them with God in her heart. She held nothing back. She locked nothing within out of self-pity or resentment. Instead, she gave everything over to God. That is how she kept those things. We keep things when we hand them over. By not letting our lives become prey to fear, distress, or superstition. By not closing our hearts or trying to forget, but by turning everything into a dialogue with God. God, who keeps us in his heart, then comes to dwell in our lives. Brothers and sisters, these then are the secrets of the Mother of God. Silently treasuring all things and bringing them to God. And this took place, the gospel concludes, in her heart. The heart makes us look to the core of a person, his or her affections and life. At the beginning of the year, we too, as Christians on our pilgrim way, feel the need to set out anew from the sender, to leave behind the burdens of the past, and to start over from the things that really matter. Today, we have before us a point of departure, the Mother of God. For Mary is exactly what God wants us to be, what he wants his church to be. A mother who is tender and lowly, poor in material goods and rich in love, free of sin and united to Jesus, keeping God in our hearts and our neighbor in our lives. Today's feast tells us that if we want to go forward, we need to turn back, to begin anew from the crib, from the mother who holds God in her arms. Today's feast is one of great joy for Mary herself as Jesus' mother and for us who owe so much to her total cooperation with God's loving plan for us. May the mother, God's finest human creation, guard and keep this year and bring the peace of her Son to our hearts and to our world. Happy New Year.